Hello again, it's Noob, and today we have a really wonderful and iconic lock here. Some of you actually might be able to identify it straight away from its weird looking keyway and the grooved, slightly curved innards. If you don't recognise the lock now, you might recognise it when I show you this key. And this is a wonderfully engineered and beautiful key. It is actually a chain key or a snake key or a snake chain key. And this is a Lay's version of the chain key lock. The way that this would work is that you would inject essentially the key into a curved keyway. So the keyway has a longitudinal curve in a sort of long S, and that would allow you to turn the core, and then of course you would retract the key from the curved keyway like this, and there you go. I've actually done a full breakdown of this wonderful lock in a separate video, so I'd encourage you to go watch that. But I don't want to go into great detail about how this lock works. I've already done that on a separate video, and I really would encourage you to go watch it because it's just a fantastic lock to explore. No, what I want to do is actually pick this lock, but how to do that with so many traps in this keyway, with all those grooves and notches, and especially because this keyway actually curves in quite an extreme way. Well, naturally the only way to get into a curved keyway is with a tool which can curve with it, and that would be a very thin tool. I've looked through all of my picks, and the only pick that I could find that could help me was this rather strange one, which was made by Bosnian Bill himself. It ended up with legal lockpicker who actually sent me a few things Bosnian Bill had made, and this was one of them. I thought I'd just keep it in my collection as a bit of a keepsake, but actually I found that this very flexible piece of steel, which I believe is feeler gauge in 15 thousandths of an inch, is really useful for picking this lock. Now, naturally, when you're pushing a piece of metal through a curved keyway and you're bending it like this, you're going to be touching the sides of this lock a lot, and that will rob you of, I would say, about 80% of the feedback, but not all of the feedback. The pin chambers are actually drilled through into the top of the plug as well, so there is actually room if you can locate the pin chambers. So the first thing that I would suggest you do, if you can get a tool which can reach into the keyway, is go in and find where those holes are and mark off the front of the keyway here, 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 and here, where all those pin stacks are. Going by feel alone is very possible, but why do that? Why not just spend the time feeling around first, and then you can locate where those holes are and concentrate on feeling for the set pins, which is really the point about picking the lock, and I think the key. So I'm going to grab a vise. We're going to vise this up, try to tension it using quite a thick tensioner here at the top, and we're just going to get in the keyway like that and struggle our way through the lack of feedback until we try to get an open on this lock. Right, I'm going to grab my vise and we'll be back in a second. So we are in the vise. You can see the lock here. It's a little bit obscured because I've had to trap it in the drawers of the vise right at the back, because the drawers splay quite widely when you put all that squeeze on the core itself. I don't want to overdo it because it's not my lock. Now the key obviously works still if you insert it, and I'm going to use top of the keyway tension and my flexible marked off pick. You can't always tell the set pin states. The closer you get to finding a binder, the noisier the lock gets and the more you'll feel the pins bind, but you have to test sort of every pin in turn. That's why picking this lock, for me at least, does take a while, just because you sort of end up having to dial in the picking as you go along. So just where I've got these marks, I can feel if I'm here, I'm on pin 1, if I'm here, pin 2, I'm here, pin 3, here, pin 4, and here, pin 5. And the reason I can feel that is partly because they've cut away the key pin chambers in the top of this core, and you can actually navigate up into those pin chambers relatively easily and feel where those are. So feel where they are, mark it off on your pick. Pro tip there for you. Just speeds it up. You'll need moderate tension on this because you're fighting against that ball detent mechanism at the back, and then it's just it's a bit of a war of attrition really. So let's have a go all the way in. Let's just have a go at pin 1 first. I feel that's maybe something picked there. The marks themselves aren't perfect. You've really got to sort of feel in the lock for where to push up. This pick is quite thin, so you don't want to end up bending it because you were getting a bit rough with the pins and you end up picking the warding. That's 4. Can't feel 3 binding yet. Pin 2 might have something there. Pin 3. Take a little jiggle to get into, there you go, into where the pins are. Do you hear that click? That was a nice positive click. Nice positive click on 5, 4, 3. Two. I think 1's okay, so I'm just going to go back. And you can rake the pins a little bit too. If you sort of get up into where those pin chambers are, you can sort of get a little wriggle and sort of rake the pins. Getting high up into the keyway is difficult as it stands. Just pin, what pin was it? Pin 1 here. Two, 3, 4, 5. Just going to give these pins a little wriggle. Can't seem to get up into that last pin chamber. There we go, I think I'm there. Pin 1, just get on to pin 1 now. Good. So I can sort of feel, I think that pin's set. That's 5. Same with 4, and swear it. And 3. Seemingly 2. That's I feel that maybe I've got more click on 3 there. 4. Trying to get 5 up into its position is hard. So sorry about the radio silence there. It's just that this lock is quite difficult to navigate, especially to feel where pin chambers are, and sort of going by sound a little bit there as well. And there we go, pin 1, and we are open. Phew, so was an 8-minute pick, but we did get there. I've already gutted this lock on a previous video, so you can see that we've got full control of the core there. Already gutted this lock on a previous video, but what I will show you is that everything is legit and is in the lock, so you can see that it really has been picked. First of all, we will lock it back up. And remove the circlip. Set the key towards us a little bit, get our follower and push that through. Got to align it just right. There we go. So you can see all of the key pins here, and I'll just tip those out for you and show you the insides aren't doctored in any way. I'll just split that open for you. Watch out for those anti-drill pins and stuff. There you go. Those are the 2 halves. If I remove the snake key, things see all the way inside. Try and get focus on there for you. Nothing's missing, as you'd expect. Not that I'd ever do that, but just in case anybody says something in the comments. And then last but not least, let's show those driver pins. There's a little, that ball detent is here, which I'll put this side. And then quickly whiz out these. They're all standard driver pins anyway, which is a mercy really in a lock like this, because if they were spools, I think it'd be really, really hard to do. If you made this into a challenge lock, my goodness. There we go. Just, that's the core there with the springs in. Put it to one side. Show you all of that. They're all the standard drivers, standard key pins. And there you go. So that was the Lay's snake key, chain key lock, whatever you want to call it, picked with a Bosnian Bill handmade pick. I really enjoyed picking this lock. It's a really fun lock to pick. I'm just so grateful that Ben lent me this so I could have a go at picking it. It's one of those sort of unicorn locks. I never thought I'd get a chance to pick it. If you like this video, please do drop a like. I love reading your comments and replying to as many as I can, so please leave a load of comments if you can. It really helps my channel as well, of course. And if you like content like this, you want to see more, then please consider subscribing, and I'll see you all next time.